Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be going through my latest prediction for the 2024 presidential election. We'll go through each of these swing states that I've yet to characterize, and we will be determining who I think will be the next president. So we'll start out in the state of Nevada. In Nevada, things are looking better for the Trump campaign. He's ahead in the 538 poll aggregator, or I think it's actually dead even in the poll 38 aggregator, but I do think that Nevada's just past history of voting Democrat. There have been a couple instances where Democrats are underestimated in the polls in Nevada, so I'm going to give it as, I'm going to add a tilt characterization. I'm going to give it as tilt blue. I think there's definitely a possibility Trump could take the state in the next couple days before the election, but if the election were to be held today, I'm going to switch that state from lean Republican to lean blue, because it is now a dead heat on 538, or last I checked. Next up, we get to the state of Arizona. Arizona, it's a bit of a different story. Things are looking better for the Trump campaign. I would most likely give the state to him. It will probably, or Georgia will most likely be the most Republican-leaning of the core swing states. Speaking of which, I guess we can just go straight to that state. In Georgia, I'm going to give this as a lean Republican rating. It'll be interesting to see what happens on election day in Georgia. There's already been high voter turnout, and that has been supporting Republicans' chances of having a better chance of taking the state. So we're going to give that as a tilt R rating. And then we will go to the state of North Carolina. In North Carolina, I'm going to give this as a tilt red rating as well. I think that it, weirdly enough, might be closer than Georgia, even though Biden was able to win Georgia, but also North Carolina is similar to Nevada in that it except kind of the opposite. It underestimates Republicans generally, while Nevada polls seem to underestimate Democrats. So I do think, and Trump is even ahead in North Carolina in the poll aggregator, so I think this will be a pretty, maybe not a solid victory, but a lean victory for him. And next up, we'll get to the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin has also underestimated Trump in the polls during the last two elections. I think Harris is ahead by about a point in the 538 poll aggregator. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I do think that if I had to call it, though, it would probably be in the tilt Democratic column, just because Harris is ahead in the poll aggregator. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but it's probably how I would predict it. I think it is probably the state the most likely, possibly Nevada, of the states that are most likely to flip from what are currently projected, but we'll have to see what happens. Next up, we will go to the state of Michigan. In Michigan, and let's take a look at the totals. So Harris is at 250 electoral college votes to Trump's 254, and things will get a little bit better for the Harris campaign. I do think that of all the three Rust Belt states, Michigan is the most likely to go to the Democratic Party, generally votes to the left of all of them, so we will give that rating as tilt blue. And then finally, we get to the state of Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, the early vote totals from mail-in ballots have been favoring the Democrats, and that isn't really too much of a surprise. The early mail-in ballots generally tend to favor Democrats, but it'll be interesting to see if that'll be enough of a firewall for Trump to be able to overcome with in-person election day votes. We'll have to see what happens, but if I were to predict it, I do think that it would most likely end up in the Trump column. So this is a bit different than my previous predictions. We'll see if this comes to fruition. But with that, it gives Trump 273 electoral college votes to Harris's 265. So it's certainly close. And Harris was able to win 3 of the 7 swing states, while Trump was able to win 4, giving him, and really the state of Pennsylvania is really the one that matters the most. And that went to Trump. It'll be by a narrow margin, but I do think that it would probably be in the Trump column. And we'll have to see what happens on Election Day. Election Day is coming up real quick, but feel free to let me know if you have any questions about my prediction, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.